But Nina is, like I said, she is the one of the people. She is not the one of the wine moms in the suburbs. That's who, with all due respect, that's who Kamala Harris is.
Oh, please.
And so there is a significant difference when we're dealing with people that are really in it for the right reasons. There is no one who was more loyal or worked harder for Bernie than this lady. She moved heaven and earth, and the things that she had to endure. I mean, I can say the story now. There was no point in bringing it up, but I was in Philly at the People's Convention in 2016 when Nina wrapped her arms around Jill Stein. I was there within a few feet, and I said to my friend who I was there with, oh, this is going to play at the convention. You watch. And sure enough, it played even worse than I thought because they kicked her out.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even let her in. So to say that Nina is willing to go where a lot of others are not willing to go is an understatement. She is the leader. And like I said, patience, but we have to get her into Congress. And I believe we will, because people are going to work their tails off to get her there. And so
moving on to news and Amuse. Well, okay, so we're a little out of order. As you guys know, we usually start with our stuff and then have a guest, but we accommodate the Queen.
Had to accommodate Queen Nina.
And so we're a little early, which is all good. But we're going to do, I mean, obviously we have to talk about yesterday, but it's almost. I think,
the best, I would welcome anybody's feedback on what happened yesterday. But I do think that on the one hand, there's no question that it was a Trump insurrection. There's no question that there are people who simply have bought into Trump's BS about the election rigging on for his end. The only election that was stolen in this country was 2 primaries from Bernie Sanders. And anyone who tells you otherwise is not paying attention. Trump is just one big man-baby temper tantrum rolled into a big baby diaper. And he is not going to go quietly, which is why I understand the prospect of trying to get him out now, because you never know what he's capable of in these last 2 weeks. I do believe he is fearful of what could happen to him after he's out of office. Is the Southern District of New York going to come after him with some type of legal charges? I mean, who knows? You never know what's going to happen. But I do think that there's also a component yesterday that isn't being talked about enough, and that is the sheer desperation that tens of millions of people feel in this country right now. There are a lot of people secretly who were cheering what was going on yesterday because they are sick of their government and the way that they have been treating them. They are corporate captured to the hilt. People do not care about what goes on. Probably a lot of people were cheering about the destruction of Pelosi and McConnell's offices. And frankly, in some cases, who wouldn't be? They're not serving the people. They're serving the corporate interests. And while the wrong people were, planting their flag and saying, hallelujah, look what we did. The truth is, you've got so many desperate people with no health care, no survival checks, no means of running their business.
This wasn't the revolution we had in mind.
No, definitely not.
But it really does show you the populist uprising is on the left and the right.
Yes.
And so it's obvious that it's not going to stop, because regardless of who's in power, there's going to be the uprising of the other side. So this was always my concern about Biden winning,
right.
That was always in the back of my head. Okay, well, that's going to let the populist on the right, those lunatics like from yesterday, that they're going to be the ones that are spending the next 4 years sort of festering and building up and whatever. And we can't let that happen. We need to keep the populist movement on the left going, so that that's not the people that are the loudest people in the room in another 4 years. And that's what concerns me.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now that while, and that's a good segue into the second part of our news and Amuse, the Democratic Party now controls all 3 elected branches. Everyone's like, oh, well, what about the judiciary? I'm not concerned about the judiciary right now. You take it one step at a time. Those are appointed individuals, but the 3 elected bodies, the presidency, the Senate, and the House, the Democrats control all 3. And as far as I'm concerned, now they have nowhere to hide. You have a pandemic that is getting worse. You are literally losing 3,000 people a day. And you don't even, for those of you who aren't even in Florida, you don't want to know how bad things are down here with Death Santis. Can't even get 20% of the expectancy of the COVID vaccine has been delivered. At this point, 20% of the expected amount of vaccines delivered. That's it.
My concern is we had this when Obama was in office. We had this exact scenario. We had the House, we had the Senate, we had a filibuster-proof Senate, actually. And we really didn't get diddly squat. We couldn't even get a public option. And so I personally have no reason to believe that this is going to be any different from the inside. However, there is a very different element on the outside than there was when Obama came in office.
I agree. A lot of people let out a sigh of relief and all that stuff.
And that's true.
Yeah.
But there is infinitely more action pressure on the outside now than there was when Obama was in office, that I do think changes things.
And Mallory is correct.
No, we're not having
and you know what? And Mallory is right. It's very easy to hate when you feel like, you know, there's nothing working in your favor. There were obviously people there that were there because they were either YouTube personalities or, you know, just people who are outright fascists or anarchists, whatever you want to call them. But you better believe there were quite a few people there yesterday that were just desperate beyond words, that are just sick of the way things are. And they think that Trump is their grand leader because no one else is leading them and no one else gives a damn about them. But that's that is the overarching issue that we have in this country right now. And now we have an opportunity to put the screws to them. The Democrats claim to be the party of the working class, supposedly. And so now that you are in a situation where you have no health care, you have no survival checks, $600, $1,800 in 9 months, 9 months, $200 a month.
It's,
well, great?
We're like, please, sir, can we have some more?
Yeah.
Ridiculousness.
Would you, or as Kyle Kalinske says, may you give me may I have a schmecken or whatever it is that he was saying?
It's pathetic is what it is. All right, but since we're there, can we do our bootlicker since it's somewhat related to yesterday's events? Yeah,
and so the person that supposedly...
Okay, this was, by the way, this was my pick. I'd like to say I don't normally pick that. I don't normally get a say-so about these things. But I don't get a say-so. It's sad.
Some of them, Mallory, some of them. There's no question that that was true. There were definitely a handful, but there are a lot of desperation. There's a lot of desperation in a lot of people as well. And so our bootlicker of the week is Josh Hawley. And so why is he our bootlicker of the week? Because here's a guy that actually was pretending to give a damn about working people by pushing for the $2,000 or was it $1,200 stimulus checks. The truth of the matter is, he did a great 180. So he pushes for what is needed from the people, and then he turns around and is leading the effort to not validate the election. That's unbelievable. Like he literally gave away whatever grace or capital he had, and he threw it away. Literally threw it away to be a bootlicker for Trump. I mean, really I'm
not going to show it, but it's so amusing to me.
Well, that's what a bootlicker is licking. So, and I gotta tell you, congratulations, Josh Hawley, because it really takes a lot to take bootlicker of the week away from Ted Cruz. It really does. Well, but takes a lot.
The truth is that really Ted Cruz could be the bootlicker.
Ted Cruz is going to give us lots of other opportunities going forward to be our bootlicker of the week. He'll give us opportunities.
Now, our bootlicker of the week was originally going to be Kelly Loeffler because she is definitely bootlicky. But then, of course, at the 11th hour yesterday, she somehow salvaged any amount of decency she may have in her little... By saying that we have to move forward. And so I do appreciate that. But I did want to share. I could share that picture anyway.
Well, there's no reason not to because I call her Karen Coulter.
All right, wait. Hold on a second.
So Karen Coulter, to me, is the best name to describe her because she really does have a doppelganger that when you see it, you'll understand. It really does look like...
I mean, granted, a lot of it is the long blonde hair. I get that. Also, for me, there's a certain amount of despicableness both there. And it's funny because normally when I see that picture of Ann Coulter, she has the joint on her head and it's that whole blunt on a cunt thing, and I find that so entertaining. But yeah, so Karen Coulter. So Kelly was going to be our bootlicker, and then, you know, she kind of sort of stood up and did the right thing yesterday. So it just seemed like an inopportune moment to make her bootlicker of the week. I mean, I'm sure she can come up with something, you know, at some point that will get her back on our radar for bootlicker.
Yeah,
not to worry.
There's no, well, you know what, again, there's no question that with the election, which we haven't had the opportunity to talk about, it's amazing what happens over the course of 24 hours. I mean, in this country, it's like a new story every day.
I kind of appreciate it. You know, there's nothing worse than a slow news cycle.
We were very, very happy.
That's when you start reading obituaries.
You know, Reverend Warnock was the signature candidate. Georgia. He was and look, it's amazing how the GOP tried to bring up videos of him in Martin Luther King's church and him as a pastor talking about the need for universal health care and thinking that was going to be used against him, that was a negative. If anything, that is what helped him win. And the fact that he was pushing for $2,000 stimulus checks, to his credit. With that said, Who is the luckiest man in the United States right now? The luckiest man in the United States right now is John Ossoff. There is no luckier person because there is
talk about right place at the
right place,
time.
Right time. There is
Oh
no way that he could have won that election if Reverend Warnock was not
is it
leading the
wrong
charge.
That he strikes me as little booty judgy.
He's Mayor Pete South.
Oh,
That's what I call him.
He really does strike me as booty judgy.
Yes, he absolutely is. And again, he's just an empty suit. And if you listen to his interview, he was interviewed, I think, by Vox. And every answer he gave, Medicare for all, no. Green New Deal, no. Living wage, no. It's like,
how about you? No.
No. And so I even said, it's kind of like, you know, sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time. If you have a very dynamic candidate at the head of the ticket, you invest everything you have into that person. And then if there's another person running on another seat,
don't point at me like I'm some downstream ballot.
Yeah, you're useless.
Like candidate.
You catch the wave. You catch the wave. Just catch the wave. And that's what. Hey, John Ossoff was smart enough to catch the wave. Give him credit for that. Because I even heard some rumblings from people that were on his team that were like, I cannot believe he won this race. I'm like, I can believe it because he was willing to basically be a team with Reverend Warnock. This
is true. Well, this is true.
Yes.
And we appreciate that. That's true.
But you know what?
It's better than not. And
I think Reverend Warnock is in a very good position, if for no other reason, because when he runs for re-election in 2 years, he's going to have a lady by the name of Stacey Abrams running for the governorship. So that will be another opportunity, or in this case for Reverend Warnock. Now he can ride the coattails because there's no question that Stacey, in my opinion, humble opinion, will be the next governor of Georgia. She put in a lot of effort.
She busted ass.
She did.
She busted ass, and she somewhat sort of redeemed herself as far as I'm concerned. I'm still not, obviously I'm never going to like the Bloomberg connection. Like there's nothing about that that's ever going to be good.
But if you can get Brian Kemp out of office next, that's obviously a good thing.
And I would like to point out that even though it kind of sucks that Warnock has 2 years and Ossoff gets 6, that's not ideal.
No.
That same 2-year dilemma is what's saving us from having what's-his-face in California for any more than 2 years.
Well,
that we wanted to be Ro Khanna.
No, that is true. And so
the fact that there's only 2 years left on some terms is a good thing.
No, that is true. And again, I have to say,
what's his name? Padilla?
Yes. And let's talk about that.
Let's talk about Alex. Is it Alex Padilla?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. And here's the thing. I really don't know much about him other than I wouldn't like him.
No. And again, he is somebody who, for anybody who is watching, who is in California or knows anything about the shenanigans that took place during the primary, both times, 16 and 20, and the things that went on in California on behalf of Hillary Clinton, on behalf of Joe Biden, etc. Everything was meant to work against Bernie Sanders, and there was nobody in the state of California that worked harder to stop Bernie than Alex Padilla. Yeah. He is public enemy #1 for the progressive movement.
So what you're saying is he's Team Clinton.
He's not just Team Clinton. He is the person. Well, he is the person who basically did his job. He did his job. He did it well in accordance with, you know, if you were to talk to Greg Palast, who is one of the foremost individuals in our country who follows real election fraud.
Also, if you haven't seen, I did do an interview with Greg Palast. That's another person that we
have
an interview with.
Great podcast to check out.
On our podcast.
Yes. Mallory, we have interviewed Anna Eskamani. If you haven't seen that, you definitely have to check it out.
Yes, we have an Anna Eskamani
we will also,
out there.
We would definitely like to get Carlos Guillermo Smith on here as well. I actually believe Carlos Guillermo Smith would be the best person to run against Marco Rubio. And
so this is this. If anybody doesn't know, this is Peter, and he's basically what I call political Sheldon for anyone who watches Big Bang Theory. So the mind is like 24/7 political strategy. Even if it's somebody that he's not even working with, he's coming up with a strategy for them. So you heard it here first. This is who he thinks would be the best person.
Again, I'm just throwing a few ideas out there. No big deal. But in the state of California, the fact that Alex Padilla did the things that he did, the rules he broke, the lengths that he went to hurt the progressive movement on behalf of the establishment, that's all they care about. He did his job, and he was handsomely rewarded. Why would they waste a space that's being vacated by a Clinton shill and not fill it with another Clinton shill? Correct. So you're not going to forfeit your power from Kamala's seat and give it to a progressive. No, of course not. And not only that, but just think about this. How many more qualified people were there in California to fill that seat? Barbara Lee, Karen Bass, Ro Khanna.
I mean, look, there's no look.
Katie Porter, even.
Oh, there's no shortage.
No shortage.
No, which is also what I bring up when people are saying, well, how come there were no other options than Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House? I would go through that same list of people.
Yes.
I just find it ridiculous. And I really don't think it's a matter of there's nobody else. I think they're scared. I think they're scared of her. I think she bullies them. And hopefully her time is, limited. I guess you said this is her last time.
No, there's no question that this is Pelosi's last hurrah for a number of reasons.
She's got to go.
There's going to be, but there is going to be something is going to give over the course of the next 2 years because the Democrats are going to be in control. And if anything, it's going to become even more intense. I do not know, Cooper. I do not know the answer to that.
Does anybody know if Padilla is Cuban?
I'm not sure.
And honestly, not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
But just a question. I don't know.
But remember, the importance of getting Nina Turner into Congress.
We cannot
emphasize
overstate
enough how important that is, because having someone like her in there with a Democratic majority in all three elected branches, the type of pressure she could put on behalf of the people would be glorious. Yeah. There's no question. It would be absolutely glorious.
Anybody who, obviously, if you're watching this, you follow us, or at least me some of the time. So if you are a supporter of mine, and you like the idea of somebody like me running again, then you have to support people like Nina Turner, because for someone like me to ever think about running again, the idea of having her, a sitting member of Congress who is somebody who would come out for us and really has zero fucks to give about pissing off Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that is the kind of people we need in our positions.
And if Nina Turner were to support Jen, then the likelihood that somebody like Ro Khanna would then join in and say, yeah, I support Jen as well. Yeah. That's the snowball effect that ultimately ends up happening.
We very much need somebody like Nina in there. And for a myriad of, this has not just about our campaign. I mean, for just general.
And again, we don't want to put down anybody else. We know who the players are in the game. But there are other people who are very concerned about their career right now. That is not what Nina is concerned about. She is, And
I want to be very clear not to judge people like that. And look, if Alex is about moving up, that's not bad. We do need
that.
Yes.
We need people like her to get
institutional integrity and memory.
You need people to get through to the suburbanites. You do need that. And if she's got that appeal, listen.
Look, everybody has sort of their lane and their best role and how they can contribute to the movement. And somebody like Alex that has the potential for longevity in elected office is somebody that we need to keep in that position. It's sort of like if you have a football team, everybody has a different position. Not
role to play.
Is in the same position.
And more than anything else, Nina has to get in there because she's got to take pressure off AOC. AOC is having a very hard time dealing with this right now.
And it really shouldn't be something that she should be having to deal with.
Quite frankly, that's true.
To her constituents.
And let me tell you something. Unlike AOC, who is a very sweet young lady, Nina Turner would never put up with the nonsense that has been lobbed at AOC over the past couple of weeks. She would put her foot down, and it would not be pretty. Alex is.
Can you imagine Jimmy Dore opening a mouth like that, looking at the camera to Nina?
Well, that would end it for him.
Oh,
that would end it.
God, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't do
that.
That
is
very
telling. That is telling because he would.
And if you want to, and I will say this, and it's nothing against Jimmy. It's anybody who's out there. No one is going to talk down to Nina Turner. That is not going to happen. A lot of the other people that are out there right now who are calling them sellouts and this and that, no one is going to call Nina a sellout. That's the one person who basically Nina is, you know how they say like Bernie's a made man? Well, Nina's a made woman. She's made. And she's earned it.
Right.
And so we have to give her the benefit of the doubt for now.
And she's one of those people that's basically amongst progressives. She's untouchable. She's untouchable as far as amongst progressives.
And the fact that
the way it is.
But Nina's real because the fact that she is willing, being such a big name and willing to come on this podcast because she knows who's really working for the right reasons. And that's not to take away from what anybody else out there is doing.
And I would like to think that I have very nicely and subtly finessed that relationship by not being needy and annoying.
I would think so.
Because a lot of people, if they had Nina Turner's cell phone number, might be needy and annoying, but I'm not needy and annoying.
No,
I am very, very, very careful and selective about
and like I said, for
and
those,
what I say.
And for those of you that were really concerned about what happened with the Pelosi vote the other day, thank goodness that Cori Bush was willing to come out there and say, listen, I had to get federal dollars from my city. And that's what the vote was worth to me. Good.
You're completely right, Mallory. And I say that all the time. There is a huge maturity factor. I said it before. I'm not the same as I was when I was 30. I'm not the same.
Correct.
You know, it's like, it's a whole different thing. And it's just, yeah, Alex is very young and has a lot to learn, and as did everybody at that age. So I just think that that's pretty typical.
If you haven't gone to NinaTurner.com, please make sure that you go there and at least sign up for phone banking. If you can contribute, that's great as well. And then, of course, we're going to try, you know, as safely as possible. You know, maybe it is a blessing in disguise that her election is a little later than I thought it would be. I thought it would be in March, but as if it turns out it's going to be in May.
But I will say,
you know,
from my understanding, is there's going to be people jumping in that race.
Oh, like, I'm sure that
there's going to be a bunch of people. Now that it's going to be an open seat, there's going to be people jumping in that race.
But how long? But how long do they want to wait? It's like, okay, Nina is already fortifying the positions.
Right now, though? Like,
I think there's one other person.
That's
I think.
Okay.
But Nina has already raised like $750,000.
Yeah.
You know, that's really
which should not discourage you from still giving whatever you can, because I assure you, as much as that sounds like a lot of money, it really isn't that much money.
No.
I used to think that was a lot of money, and then I ran for Congress and I learned that that is not a lot of money.
No. And so what you want to do, again, cannot emphasize enough how important name recognition is. People just need to know. But Nina, as you can tell, this is why I love this lady, because she has the same type of fire. I would go to church and I'd run through a brick wall for her.
And that, well, but like if she, you know, if she had a congregation that I lived near, I'd go to church.
Yeah. Why would you not?
I would go to church. And
Hello, somebody.
I'm the anti-theist of the universe, and I would go to church.
Yeah. No, and she's got, like I said, the leadership that you really need at this point in time. You need that voice. You need that fire, because she's got it, and she will inspire people. She just needs an even bigger platform. Yeah. Most people don't listen to her because they just associate her with Bernie and this and that. But if she's in the halls of Congress, if she has access to being on MSNBC and CNN all the time, could you imagine her taking those people to church?
Well, I mean, and that's the thing that is so important about reaching other audiences.
Yes.
And why it's so frustrating. And I do think that the left is infinitely worse about that in terms of criticizing fellow left for going over onto a platform of the right.
Correct.
Versus the right criticizing somebody coming onto a left platform. I don't think they do that over there, but it's very frustrating. And I would just like to point out, I think we got 500 subscribers after my little bit on Tim Pool. And that's a lot of people that are now hearing our message that weren't otherwise hearing our message and are learning about progressive policy and learning about things. And that's important. That's important. And then
that's like I mentioned about Nina having John Kasich come on.
Yes,
because Kasich has his audience. And if they come on, they might hear a thing or two and say, yeah, you know, that's actually not such a bad idea. And that is how you build. You have to build, and you have to convince people that, yeah, you know what? We're not as different as people are making us out to be. We're really not. We're not that different. You know, we really do have a lot of common ground that we can build upon. What we don't have is control of the narrative. And that is why they have us all fighting amongst ourselves and fighting against each other. And that's a big part of the problem. It looks like you picked her up by her neck. No, I know you didn't do that. Say hello. That's my dog. That's Lulu. She has a licking problem. No, she's just a sweet. She's just a sweet girl. Lou, quit licking. Say hi. Say hi, Lou. Say hi, Lou. Say hi. Look. Who's the cutest dog in the world? She really is the cutest dog in the world. Sometimes I look at her and I'm like, you really are the most perfect of the canine species. Yeah, you are. Yeah. So for those of you who would criticize how the left is going on Fox News, and yes, that is true. You have to meet people where they are. You know, a lot of working class people watch Fox News. That doesn't mean that they're attached to the Republican Party. Quite frankly, I think a lot of them are tired of it. And you're seeing that right now. They're kind of at a loss because I've always been emphasizing the importance of not shying away from the fact that people will only be squeezed so tightly for so long before they fight back and say, I've had enough of this. I won't take this shit anymore. You know, and we're not going to take it anymore. No, we're not. You know, that's don't try to find reasons not to burn bridges or to build bridges. People are so quick to burn them and say, I don't want to get along with these guys. Because they're angry, but the problem is that they're placing their anger in the wrong direction. Correct, they are. That's the problem.
You know, you need to be angry at the people that have been in charge for the past 40 years, not the people that have been there for 2 years. I think that's a big difference.
Somebody who voted for Trump is not necessarily your enemy. Steve Mnuchin is your enemy.
Yeah. Steve Mnuchin is everything.
You know,
unless you're rich.
That's rich. This is the mistake that people fall into. And look, there are a lot of people on social media and, you know, different channels who are doing this for a career. I don't know how you decipher one from the other necessarily in some cases.
I think you can. I think you just have to really use some deep analysis. Can we talk about Julian Assange, since that wasn't on our
Yes, and since this is one of the last things before we go off the air, is the importance of talking about Julian Assange. It was great that the UK judge did not grant extradition to the United States.
And yet
they will not grant him bail.
And see, this is the thing. So I just want to be very clear that this is not over by a long stretch, because the thing about that, this judge, the barrister, happened to rule in the correct direction. But when you read the case, when you read the ruling and you understand why, it isn't for the correct reasons that's going to be safe in terms of keeping Julian out of this, out of the mess that he's in, and certainly not saving our First Amendment. So the reason that they decided she decided not to extradite Julian is based on the condition of the prison in which he would be kept, and his suicidal state would not be, you know, would not coexist. Well, I would agree that is true. But she didn't not extradite him based on merits of the case. In fact, she agreed with all of the points that were presented by the United States representative there. So of course the U.S. is appealing this, and then bail was denied. And so Julian is still like languishing away. And it's absurd. And we need to sort of stay on this. Basically, this barrister was just a coward, and she didn't want to be responsible in either direction. And so she passed the buck. That's what happened. She didn't want to deal with it either way. And this way she was able to not really piss off the left and not really piss off the right and just sort of do nothing. And that's where we are right now. So Julian Assange is still in a bad way, and we need to just be on top. We need to be aware that that is still
and look, Facebook has officially banned Trump until he's out of office.
I love it. It's really like giving the toddler a timeout. He's really sitting in like the corner. He's sitting in like the timeout chair.
I don't know. I think it's a
dunce cap.
but I do think that that's a dangerous precedent that they're setting. I don't. But then again, you never know what Trump may or may not do. I mean, look, he has tested the limits to how far you can go and what you can get away with based on the amount of power that you wield. I mean, he really has shown just how far this country has fallen. And I know it's easy to just put it all on him, but the truth is we've been heading down a very slippery slope for a very,
it just
very
gets
long
exponential.
time.
It's like anything else. The closer you get to the ground, the faster you're going.
Got to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I also feel the same way about Snowden. Obviously, he is definitely somebody that should be pardoned, revered, and whatnot. But as I always say, he's not somebody that I worry about his existence on a daily basis. You know, Snowden isn't hanging on by a thread. Snowden has a wife and a new baby. And yeah, it sucks, no doubt, that he is being exiled from his home country.
And no one's actively trying to come after him. They're basically just like, you stay where you stay.
I'm just saying, like, he's not somebody who I'm worried about, like, committing suicide in the next few weeks.
No. But again, freedom of the press it really is hanging on by a thread. It really is.
People don't understand how fragile that is.
Yeah, and if you guys think that the press conferences of Trump was bad, you wait until Biden is doing press conferences. I mean, you want to talk about the only people that would be allowed to ask questions of Biden are people that will not challenge him in any capacity. Everything will be softballed. Everything is going to be controlled and coordinated. And the same will be true for Kamala. This is going to get very ugly very quickly because people are tired of the stenography for these rich aristocrats and power players.
I mean, you know, when you're talking about this is, you know, here, I don't like censorship, but he's very dangerous. I'm not sure if you're talking about Julian Assange.
Trump.
Oh, Trump. Okay. Yeah, he is dangerous. And yeah, I'm not for censor. This is one of those things where I disagree with it in theory, but I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with censorship, and yet I find it amusing that it's happening. I know it's a real, you know what? I'm really having like sort of like this cognitive dissonance in myself because I don't agree with censorship, but yet it's kind of funny. And I don't know.
That's fine. And I think we all have different paths forward in terms of what is the best way to execute the ultimate goals, which of course is the primary policies, Medicare
Yes.
for all, the Green New Deal, however modified it has to become. Then, of course, you have a living wage, you have ending the foreign wars, you have universal basic income, you have the survival checks we're dealing with right now. You have the fact that we desperately, and I know that there was somebody who commented on one of the videos today about UBI and the merits of whether or not modern monetary theory actually makes sense. The truth is MMT makes perfect sense, at least for the next decade or two, because of the fact that we are so far behind the rest of the developed world when it comes to infrastructure. The amount of investment that we must make in things like our bridges, our roads, high-speed rail.
How about just, sewer systems?
Sewer systems.
The things
Flint,
that are like
Michigan.
unsexy and people don't really want to think is an important thing. I got to tell you, when poo's coming up your pipes, you're caring about your sewer system infrastructure. We have a problem with that in Fort Lauderdale. There's a huge problem with the septic or whatever their system is over there in the east. It's not in our district, mind you, but it's a problem.
Yes, it's true. And again, when it comes to, you want to say political factions or ideologies, I don't particularly like the idea of being ideological. I think that it's much more important to either be corporate versus non-corporate, because that's what's most important. And then we could debate the issues on their merits individually. Yeah. But I will say this, progressives and libertarians have a lot of common ground on a lot of substantially important issues, whether it is foreign wars, whether it is civil liberties.
Talking to you.
Oh,
are you?
Excuse me, Kino.
No, I don't know. Okay, first of all, Kino, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's so nice for somebody to have my back. I live in a world of this. I'm
done.
No. Okay, but in all fairness, Kino, I talk over him too sometimes. So it's kind of just the nature of this kind of partnership. But
well, we're not actually facing. We're not facing each other when we're talking. We're kind of.
No,
if
he
I was
talks
sitting
over me all the time. He talks over me all the time. He talks over me when we're just talking to each other. He talks over me.
If I was on this, eventually I would like to do that. Kino, I think
what?
I think
what do you want to do?
What I think we should do, if we ever get to the point where we have a big Patreon and we're really, if we were able to raise enough money, I think that if we had more of a pro.
What does this mean, Mallory? Are you talking some binary from the LGBTQIA perspective?
No, I don't think so. But I think that if we had more of a pro studio where if I was sitting at this end and you were sitting at that end and we were able to be facing each other while we're communicating, there would be a lot less of the interruptions.
I don't think so. We talk, you interrupt me all the time. Even when nobody's looking. But more than that, we talked about that, and we could have that format. Like how first of all, we don't have the space to do it like how Tim Pool has it or Joe Rogan has it, where they have a whole big setup.
Well, that's different. That's
no. And so the problem is that in order for us to even be across from each other, the camera would have to be so far back from it doesn't work. And I like that we are both able to sort of look at the camera, and also there are many times when I'm sitting here alone doing an interview or something and it's just me. So it is what it is. If you bring in some money, get a better setup. That's what I have to say to you.
Okay. So we will do everything we can in our capacity to try to bounce off each other a little better. But I think we're doing a decent job so far.
Look, this has been the past 2 years in my life.
Yeah. I haven't pissed her off enough yet, but
this has been the past 2 years of my life.
Yeah. Well, I think we're doing a good job.
I
think we're building
we have our moment.
Again, as important as it is, as we said earlier today, to unseat Debbie Wasserman Schultz, building a sustainable progressive movement in South Florida is that much more important. And it's never really been done before, but we're attempting it now.
No, we are doing it now. It's been happening for the past 2 years. People have to understand, a campaign for office is really something that could be part of the process of just moving the entire progressive movement forward.
Right.
The campaign isn't only a means to an end. It's part of the snowball. It's part of building it up, bringing in more people, connecting different groups together that wouldn't have otherwise been together. That is what we strive to do. The running for office part is really a small piece of how that all works together. And people really need to understand that. And if you are somebody that does like the idea of us doing this again and me running again, then we need people to be working on this basically moving forward all the time. If you're interested, support. If you live local, support GenCorps. Sign up. Come volunteer with us when we're doing
was
stuff.
one thing we didn't get to mention to Nita. I wish we did.
This isn't not about us. It's about her.
Yes.
She's a candidate. It's about her.
That's true.
So like, if you want us to do this again, campaigning is something that really needs to be done all the time.
That's what GOP does.
You can't just come out during campaign season and be like, oh yes, this is what we, no. So what happens is if we're campaigning, and by campaigning, I don't mean for me for Congress, I mean pushing progressive policies forward, working on building coalitions, working on helping our community. We do that year round. That's our name recognition. That's our brand. And that's how we build this going forward. If that ultimately results in us doing this again, like we decide, you know what, we think that the strategy is right. We think we can do it, because there's a lot of strategy involved. This isn't a matter of just, oh, I want that job. I realize that's how it normally is for people, which is why I think most of the time people lose. This needs to be something where me getting in that office is the most strategic way to better move them forward and the best way for me to contribute in that process. And that's the strategy. It might not be that way. That might not be the best thing. I don't know. It's funny because we get people sending us messages that they're going to be running against Debbie Wasserman.
Yeah, somebody even created a fake account on Twitter the other day saying, oh, well, I live in Coral Springs, which isn't even in the district, mind you, saying that they're going to be running against her. Yes, and Cheyenne is absolutely right. Yes, a lot of it, you know, again.
Well, because AOC, this is name recognition.
Yeah, AOC really
was an anomaly.
It was an anomaly.
It was an anomaly.
It was very carefully picked by brand new Congress. It was Justice Dems. It was the right place at the right time. But you know, and again, also with Jamal, same thing with Jamal. And the reason why Jamal was able to break through is because Elliot Engel
walked in it.
He walked into it.
He did, and that was a perfect storm again. And Jamal is, there is no
infinitely better. When you saw the two,
it's just ridiculous.
And this is why, for those of you out there that are watching, I cannot emphasize this enough.
Jamal's the real deal.
Hakeem Jeffries must have a primary challenger for 2022 because he is the heir apparent to Pelosi.
See, this is the brain. This is the Sheldon brain. He's picking out everybody. He knows who needs to run where.
You cannot, if Hakeem is able to become Speaker of the House next, it's all over. And this guy has been swimming in Wall Street money ever since he's been in office. And New York, to its credit, especially New York City, has done an amazing job of building up that progressive movement. Lauren Ashcraft, Melanie DeRigo,
we don't have that here. No. We just don't. And so we are sort of we are more at the embryonic stages of our of our progressive movement, whereas they're more like fetal than we are. So like they're a little bit further along than we are. We also have a much older demographic. We also have our whole other slew of issues.
Yes, we've got a lot of things to work on down here.
And for those, canvas there.
And so for those of you that, and again, we've had a very large audience tonight. So there is a name that we're going to throw out there, and we'll throw other names out there as we go forward.
Yes, people pay attention.
The name that you all have to know is Dan Reynolds.
Everyone needs to know who this is.
He is the head of the Broward AFL-CIO. He has been Debbie's biggest protector for 25 years. He is the person that ensures that Debbie does not get challenged, that Labor backs her, even though she is one of only, I believe, 4 Democrats that voted to fast track the TPP.
He blindly supports her, even though it is not in the best interest of his rank and file. And look, it happens. We know that unions do not always represent their rank and file.
No.
This case here is particularly egregious. This individual, and yet it's crazy. Like we will actually tell, there is a particular individual, Dan Reynolds, and this gentleman is standing in the way of progress for labor in our area and everywhere, really. So if you are a working person and you like the idea of labor having things like, you know, $15 minimum wages and paid leave and health care, this is the person, this is one of the people in Broward that is really standing in the way of us having nice things.
And on top of everything else, Florida, if you think about it, guys, is really a state that is ground zero for an economic populist uprising. It is a state with the largest income inequality gap in the country. It is also a state that economically is driven by the service industry, by tourism. That's all working class people. Whether it is in Orlando because of Disney, Tampa down the West Coast line because of the beaches, whether it is Miami, Fort Lauderdale Metro.
We've got issues.
We do. And to have an economic populist uprising, it's very possible. You just have to continue to spread the word.
So this is, Cheyenne, this is an interesting question because I'm not sure what the answer is about that, but I do know that the progressive side and the progressive activists are the only side and the only people that are going to make anything happen. It's not going to happen from anyone else. So yeah, I understand that it's not that blue. I understand Florida is red. The question is, can our blue be more powerful, more strong, stand up and bring over the people that are the red because of economic populism?
Correct.
We need to be the ones all the way on the left to almost wrap around to the other side of the circle. And I always say that this is a circle, it's not a line. There are people that are on the other team that are really not so far off from us in a lot of issues. So what we need to do as the left is reach over to the people on the right that are the working people and bring those people into our coalition against the corporatists.
Correct.
And that is what I also believe about Movement for a People's Party. Kim Iverson did a good piece on this, that if the Movement for a People's Party wants to be successful, it cannot just be progressive left. It can't, progressive Democrats. It cannot just be the progressive left. It has to also be sort of like the progressive right. And I know that people don't really understand what that means, but it's this populist movement of working people that don't necessarily agree with you on all of your social issues. But we need those people to enable us to have the real economic uprising that we need to have. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. So if the Movement for a People's Party reaches over and pulls in working class people that are the populist on the right side, they have a chance. If they're just going to basically be another version of the Green Party, right, they're going nowhere because there's just not enough of those people.
And building that infrastructure takes years, effort. People have to figure out a way to build bridges. The truth is, like I said, the Greens and the Libertarians probably could have found a lot of common ground on a number of very key issues.
But they just cannot get out of their way.
And whether they like it or not, guess what? The Greens sealed their fate by not having Jesse Ventura be their standard bearer this election.
Look, this goes back further than that. I mean, one of the biggest problems with the Greens, quite honestly, is their name. And I have no problem with the Greens. I voted Green in 2016. I think their platform is great, but it really appeals to a very slim margin of people. People that are more conservative or people that are the populists on the right, they're going to look at something like that and they're going to a bunch of green, hippy dippy, whatever that is. And you're not going to get people that would otherwise be supportive of things like labor rights and healthcare. And that's the biggest problem. And the Green Party just in and of itself comes off. And again, this is an image. I'm not saying that this applies to the people in the Green Party, as very kind of like the vegan-y, tree hugger, elitist, kind of like that.
Carlos, the fact that you've checked in, I just want to let you know, if you haven't been watching the whole time, I actually think you are the person who needs to run against Marco Rubio in 2022. We've never met
Carlos. I'd love to meet you because my partner here seems to think that you should be challenging Marco Rubio.
Well, I think if you and Anna
ran... If he thinks that you should be challenging Marco Rubio, then you probably should be challenging Marco Rubio.
Again, I mean, you're the two best progressives.
Somebody's got to do it.
Why is it the two best progressives in elected office in the state of Florida as of right now? No disrespect to Chevron Jones. And he will be coming on our show in a couple of weeks.
Yes. Wait. When did we?
Chev is coming on January 21st.
And we also do have some other interesting people.
Yes, Medea Benjamin is. What a perfect time to have Medea Benjamin come on. Medea's coming on Monday. So that's our next live stream will be on Monday. It'll be with Medea Benjamin. At what a time? An attempted coup.
What time are we doing it?
I don't know yet. Okay. I don't have all the details yet.
We're doing the best we can to be as consistent as possible. We will do live streams every Thursday night, so that's going to be a consistent time. Right. But we've decided going forward that all of our podcasts with guests are going to be live streams. So it's not going to be that, we drop one every Monday because we're having it scheduled at the same time. So it's not going to really work that way. We've just decided going forward, live streams better.
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. And, as long as we give everybody some degree of notice, I mean, we gave people notice of Nina 3 days notice and obviously emphasize it more today. But I also like Tim Pool's concept of not necessarily letting you know who the guest is, because if it's a big name, things could come up. There was obviously the possibility, that they wouldn't necessarily be coming on the show. So you also have to take that into account. But overall, we've been able to, get a lot of people that want to come on and share their thoughts. And look, we're just trying to build a real sustainable movement
and educate
this
people.
Is not about this is not about our careers. We're not just trying to make a buck off of this. We actually,
we wouldn't mind making a few dollars.
And it would help.
It would help.
It would help.
By the way, we can officially take donations for GenCore, which is our nonprofit. We are not a 501c3. You do not get a tax write-off, just like you wouldn't if you donated to a campaign. We cannot get that. Obviously, we're politically involved. We want to be able to endorse candidates. Right. But at generationalchange.com, there is a way for you to donate to GenCore. Right now, we're really working on beefing up our local volunteer efforts and our podcast. Really, our goal is to transform politics into service. That's what we're trying to do. That's our mission, is to get all campaigns, the paradigm to shift so that campaigns are running to, as a public service. When you're, for sure, congressional campaigns. But yeah, campaigns should be part of the process. They should be part of the service of bringing people into the fold.
And to let you guys know, again, even at the local level, I understand there is this desire to want to just start a new party because people are frustrated with the Democratic Party. I can assure you that there are ways to take this over. You just have to know where to look and where to go. For example, we're in a situation where even our local Broward DEC, we have so many open committee seats, committee precinct people that can fill so many open spots that can have a real impact on being able to bring new voices to the table. That is vital to making this change. And so there has to be, as Jen has suggested, an inside-outside strategy, as Nina has emphasized, an inside-outside strategy. You cannot be looking for reasons not to build bridges. You have to be looking for reasons to build them.
Yes.
To say,
discourse.
What can we do to bring everybody together? That is essential as anything.
Okay, I'm going to share the design with people because we're getting, guys. So we are getting
wrong.
How is that wrong?
Oh, never. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, because I saw awesome customer.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. That's what it is. You're right.
Okay.
Sometimes you're right. Okay, guys. So
sometimes
this is the jersey. These are our jerseys for Generational Change.
Hope you like them.
Hope you like them. Basically, see the front of Peter's shirt. These are our GenCore shirts. So they say, "Here comes the sun," and on the back, these are our GenCore volunteer shirts. So it says GenCore on the back. These are going to be very handsome. And then these are jerseys. I had this vision in my head. I really wanted like a vintage jersey. Ironically, I'm probably going to cut the sleeves off of mine so you'll only see the purple at the shoulders. But I think they're really, Carlos, your office is calling me back. Why are you putting up their little thing? Because
I think it's important. That's all. I'll put it up in a minute.
So anyways, guys, these are going to be available soon and you'll be able to purchase them on our website. And we're going to see how it goes. And right now,
careful. What's going on? What's going on?
Did I lose my mic?
No.
No, I mean, am I still? I think I might be dead. I think Lou unplugged it.
Okay, well, I'm not, and I'm still here, and I can talk. I don't know. I think that, well, Lou got a little excited.
What is happening there? But I don't know where it got unplugged.
We can only keep the dog under control for so long.
Yeah, we have a dog. We're having a dog situation, so hopefully my microphone is still working. I think it is. No, is it working? Can you people hear me when I talk into my
Can you hear Jen? Is she talking? Jen's fine. Okay, Jen's mic is fine.
So that wasn't what she unplugged. Okay. So anyway, guys, this is going to be our shirts. They're coming in. I can't wait till we can see them actually in person. I think they're going to be really cool. But yeah. Okay, the mic's good. All right, we're good.
I just want to put the message out there. Like I said, the two best progressives that we have in the state of Florida.
Is Carlos still with us?
He may be, but I hope he sees this message from Mallory. Carlos and Anna are lucky enough to be in the same part of the state, the Orlando metro area. And they have done phenomenal work. Anna has actually helped me, her team personally, with
because these are public servants.
Yeah, because they actually understand that you're here to serve the people.
That's the thing. And so, Mallory, I'm really glad to hear that Carlos was able to help you. I think that, that, and again, this is something that I hate to say it like this, but really that's their job.
Yeah.
That's their job.
And look, it takes a while for people to really understand. Yeah, there's always going to be people on the left that are not going to necessarily be palatable, if you will, to some people in the middle on the right.
What happened to his seat? What happened with that? Carlos.
He's in the state house.
He's in there now, but didn't he ran for Congress though?
No, he didn't.
Didn't he run for something?
No.
Okay, then I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of somebody else then.
Yeah. Somebody else.
Well, we need to meet him. Can we have Carlos come on our show?
We'd love to have him on. Carlos, if you're watching, we'd love to have you on the live stream. We really appreciate all the hard work you're doing up there. And if you are looking for the next step, I think you would definitely make a very formidable opponent to Rubio. I think you would definitely make a really great tandem with Anna, because I do think Anna is the best option against DeSantis for a number of reasons. And so right now, you want to say we're still in kind of like the incubation stage, like we're still kind of growing, if you will, as a movement in a lot of ways.
I mean, you mean here, like us particularly?
Well, I would say definitely in Florida. There's no question about that.
We're working it. We're doing the best we can down here. We definitely, you know.
No, I think we're definitely.
So anybody local, if you guys want to help out with GenCorp, please go onto the website and sign up. We do have a new volunteer coordinator, Melissa, who I believe was on here earlier.
Yes.
On here.
Yes.
She might still be here. And we need to start getting people into our system. We are starting to formally be doing with Probation Station our motions to terminate or early termination of probation. And we're going to start having people on our volunteer roster. And we have a new volunteer program that we can use. So anybody local, please sign up. Oh, there's Melissa. She's there. Okay.
Shoot her a message. Melissa, thank you so much for everything you've done so far. You've just been an amazing teammate. We're so grateful to have you.
And now we have our volunteer program. And so if you're local and you want to come out and help us, and you get a GenCorp t-shirt, which they're really cool.
Come on. They're really
they're really cool.
They're really incredible. They're totally beautiful. Really appreciate it. You really made a really, really, really great shirt. Tremendous shirt. I know. Totally fantastic.
And he was really kind of poo-pooing my idea of putting the Here Comes the Sun on the front. His idea of the t-shirt was just putting the logo on the t-shirt. I never poo-pooed
an idea before in my life. No, you're not telling the truth. It's totally fake news. Believe me when I tell you. You're totally telling.
Tremendous shirt. Yes, Mallory, it is a tremendous shirt.
Believe me when I tell you, she's totally telling a lie. And I never lie. I tell the truth all the time.
I can pull up what your design. His design was just taking my logo and sticking it on the front of the shirt.
That was a really great idea. I came up with it myself. It wasn't a good idea. Nobody wants to wear that. No, it was a really great idea.
Here Comes the Sun is so cute.
No, believe me when I tell you,
and our little son.
No, you keep interrupting me. You're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be my turn to talk. Believe me, I've been quiet the whole time, and now I'm talking.
I almost want to draw a booger on it.
No, listen, I totally did not tell those people to run into the White House and start breaking things. I told them they could come inside, they could go into the Capitol and have a good time. I told them, listen, I'm going to be leaving soon. You might as well come enjoy it with me for a little while. Really incredible people. I totally told them not to break anything. When they started breaking things, I told them, stop, it's time to go. You have to leave. And they left.
You know, when I watch you doing this with Thurgood looking over my shoulder, it's so bizarre. I keep thinking, like, what would Thurgood think of Donald
Trump? He's totally not good at
I almost feel like he shouldn't, like, I never feel like I should protect him I never would have
appointed him. He totally, he is Neil Gorsuch. Totally the best. He's the best. He's the best. He's tremendous. He's really, really great.
Not Amy Waffle-Cone. Amy Waffle-Coney.
No, Amy does exactly what I asked, but then again, she didn't listen. I told her that you have to listen to me.
Here,
she told me.
They want you to use both hands.
Oh. So when I told the people, I told them, listen, we're going to put the right people in charge. We're going to put the right people in charge of the courts, and they're going to do for me what I asked them to do. But then all of a sudden, they stopped listening to me. Even Mike stopped listening. Can you believe it? Mike, totally terrible person now. And I'm totally not pardoning him because he's in a lot of trouble. Mike, a lot of trouble. Totally a lot of trouble. And we're totally going to make sure that he's going to get the guillotine. Did you see that beautiful? Did you see the
They're
news?
building it in front of.
They built the news. They built the news. They were going to hang people up. I told them, listen, you're not supposed to do it on camera. You do it when no one's looking. But now I don't know what's going to happen. They're taking all my power away. I'm not even allowed to tweet. Can you believe that?
Yes, it's good. That's what it is. Look, and I am not a censorship supporter, but I got to tell you, I'm not, again,
the stories of me losing my mind is not true. I'm totally sane. No, sane. I'm definitely sane, right? That's the right word.
I think you're highly medicated.
No, I'm definitely not medicated. I only take a little bit. I only drink 12 Diet Cokes now a day. That's totally not medication. It's totally normal. That's exactly the amount that you're supposed to take. That's what my doctor prescribes for me. It makes complete sense. So I am going to really have a tremendous, incredible time after I'm out of the White House. We're going to start Trump TV. We're going to make a lot of money. And you know where I'm coming, Jen? Do you know where I'm coming? Does everybody know where I'm coming?
Come down here.
I'm coming to Florida.
Coming down here.
We're taking over Florida. We're totally making it our state. And who knows? Maybe I run for Senate. You never know. I might not be done. I might want to go back. Hey, it's too much fun. Maybe I'll run for governor. What do you think? You think that would be a good idea? I'm going to have Ivanka run. I'm going to have her run. I think she would make a tremendous, incredible representative. I really think she's going to do a great job. Tremendous job. So you haven't heard the last of me. And maybe 2 weeks away. But you're going to have to deal with me for a very, very long time. Believe me when I tell you.
I've been
Trump's
looking
not
at
going
that
away.
douche since the 80s.
I'm not going away. I'm not going anywhere. You're going to have to continue to deal with me. It's really incredible.
It's grotesque.
No, it's not grotesque. It's really beautiful. I'm beautiful. You're ugly. And that's the way it is.
You're fat.
I'm totally plump, not fat. Don't believe what they tell you. They're only supposed to show me from the neck up, not anything else. I'm taking really great care of myself. Oh, no, totally not. No, no one has a turkey. Nobody has a turkey neck like Mr. McConnell. He's got the biggest turkey neck. Totally the biggest turkey neck. Really terrible. Really terrible. I actually made sure that he lost his seat because he didn't take care of me. And I had to make sure that Loeffler and Perdue, they lost too. I know I'm the kiss of death now, but secretly, I was just trying to help the Democrats.
All right.
I really was.
I'm wrapping it up.
So we have to go soon, but it was really great to see all of you. I'll be back soon. Trust me. I'm not going anywhere.
Can you please stop? He can't help himself.
I definitely think that we have to get rid of that man. He definitely does not deserve to be the president of the United States.
I gave you your Bernie mask. It's just the Bernie mask. Okay, guys, the Bernie mask is really creepy. I don't like the Bernie mask.
No, I don't like.
First of all, he looks like bug-eyed. Like I don't understand why it looks so bad.
Oh, I don't.
And it makes it look like he's got horrible teeth.
No, I do. Listen. My teeth are not really that good. I unfortunately was born in the 1940s, and I did not have the best dental. I didn't have universal health care. So what did you expect? I was a poor kid from Brooklyn. Okay, so I did the best I could, and I'm working to make sure that people have nice teeth going forward, because you cannot have universal health care unless you have dental, vision. You got to have everything. There's no point.
Do you see how deranged he looks? Like, look at the eyes. He doesn't look right. He looks just not right.
I'm really glad you had Nina on the podcast.
Although it really does look funny to watch him in the t-shirt.
Nina did an incredible job. She really did.
Nina's the best.
I mean, Nina, she was my campaign co-chair. She worked very hard for me on the stump. She did a really great job of exciting the people. And I have no doubt she is going to make it an exceptionally good Congresswoman. I cannot wait to have her in the halls of Congress with me. But one more person has to come and say hello.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It looks like Larry David playing Bernie. Okay, he's got to do his last one. And honestly, I forget how I feel about this mask. Oh, because I hate that mask. Because this mask looks like it's like almost like a cross between Nixon.
You know, I really like that, Nina. And I really can't wait for her to get to Congress. She's quite a charming lady. And believe me, I like this lady over here too.
Oh, for God's sake.
So you got to help her get to Congress, because Slick Willie's feeling all kinds of lonely. And I can only put up with Hillary for so much longer.
Larry David gave money to Booty Judge. That is unfortunate.
Oh, that Larry David. He should have been giving money to my... I don't know what campaign I'm going to run for next. You think I could possibly run again?
Oh, God. Give him
I really like all you people supporting the podcast. I hope you'll turn in.
Yeah, so guys, if you haven't, please, I'm sure by now everybody subscribe to Generational Change.
Maybe make a donation.
And when you guys go on YouTube and you are going to click and watch one of our amazing videos that we've worked so hard on, make sure that you let them play, even if you can't sit there the whole time. We need watch hours, guys. So we're really trying to get up there, get monetized,
You're all really wonderful people, and I'm very grateful for your support for this wonderful channel. The more you build Jen's name, the more likely we're going to kick that piece of shit Debbie Wasserman Schultz out of Congress. I never liked her. I really
the one
didn't.
Who was like just been up your wife's butt
no,
for the past like 10 years.
She totally screwed it up for Hillary. She totally screwed it up.
You think it was her, not Hillary?
Oh, she totally did.
I don't know.
That's what I was told.
No, she definitely. Your wife is probably hanging her out to dry before.
Well, Hillary doesn't take any blame for anything, so she had to put it on someone else. And,
I guess.
Debbie's an easy target.
Yeah.
Well, we could certainly do a lot better than her.
As long as I don't get Arkancided.
Oh, well, I can't speak to that.
Yeah,
That's
so you
not
piss
my
off the right
territory.
people. That's a Hillary thing, right? We don't want to get Arkansas.
No, there's no such thing. I don't know what people have been telling you.
I know what happened. That's
No,
what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein got Arkansas.
Oh, we're not gonna be talking about that guy anymore. And as far as whether or not I went to his island,
Rich, was that Arkansas? I think Seth Rich got Arkansas.
Oh, well, we don't talk about him either. And I didn't exactly go to his island. I mean, I went to an island with a bunch of lovely ladies, but it wasn't the one that Epstein was talking about. And so, of course, I always end up getting in lots of trouble.
Can this be a recurring segment? Well, I don't know. Look, okay, look, he's got a few good bits. All right. We have a few masks, but yeah, I mean, okay, he generally does the Trump one because I think
Priyanka,
it's the most...
oh, she looks like a lovely lady. I'd like to get to know her a little bit better myself.
I'm sure you would.
Well, you know, that green hair, I can get along with just about anything these days. I don't have high standards like I used to.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying, Mallory. Yeah, Bill.
Oh, I don't know anything about. I mean, I like.
You're on the manifest.
Hey, listen, I like Lolitas, but I was never on any Lolita Express. At least that's what I told my lawyer to tell the judge.
Okay, we've got to. You see, the beauty of Peter is he makes sure that he feeds himself before the show starts, and I haven't eaten.
I made sure to eat. You know, at least a little bit of food, but we do have to go. I'm glad you guys like the impressions. I'll think of some more to give.
I don't know. You got to work on his jet. Don't do it because it's not good. Your Jesse Ventura is not great. No, don't do it until you get it right. It's not
the great. Body.
Don't do it.
Ventura.
No. No. All right, guys.
We hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Thank you so much. We definitely got a number of extra subscribers tonight, which is wonderful. So make sure. Oh, you should do the actor who was Spider-Man, who's inspired. Oh, well, William Dafoe. No, I can't.
Oh, now you guys are getting way out.
Yeah, you're really getting out there.
I mean, he's got. It's not like this is his real calling in life.
Oh, well, I don't know. You never know. New paths forward. William Dafoe, Mallory. I think that's who you're thinking of.
Willem Dafoe.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
So anyway, it was this may be our best show yet. You know, I keep saying that every week.
Because we have Nina Turner.
Well, I mean, Nina just elevates the game just so much higher. Everything is much better with Nina Turner.
All right, so Monday, guys, we have Medea Benjamin.
Medea Benjamin, next special guest.
So next Thursday, we were scheduled to be. I was scheduled to be talking with Steve Grumbine about modern monetary theory. And for anybody who's progressive, you know who Stephen Grumbine is. He is somebody who's been talking about this for a really long time and is very knowledgeable on this issue of MMT.
Right.
Unfortunately, Steve is sick. He has COVID. He has checked himself into the hospital. I think he's doing okay.
Sending our best, Steve.
Yes. And so we reached out and just let him know that obviously I'm not expecting him to be on our show next week by any stretch. And I thought we were able to get Chevron to come on.
Chevron will be on, but that's on the 21st. That's the following week, not next week.
So we will have somebody. I'll come up with somebody special for next Thursday. And don't forget, we have Medea on Monday.
Yeah, I think we're going to, depending on how consistent we get our guests coming on, we might be doing 2 shows a week now, Mondays and Thursdays. Isn't that wonderful? You get to hang out with us.
But the reality is that there are certain people that I just really want to talk to, and I'll do it whenever it's convenient for them. So if Oliver Stone wants to come on and chat with me, and he can do it on like a Wednesday at 11, I'm doing it at Wednesday at 11. Oh, yes. Also, Max Blumenthal will be coming on at some point next week, hopefully. With him, I don't like to ever put that out there too much because for all you know, he could be in Bolivia next week covering something important. That's what happens with real journalists. They actually go where there are stories.
Yes.
So yes, but Max Blumenthal will be joining us at some point soon.
Great to hear that, Jonathan. Stay safe. We certainly hope that, you know, again, unfortunately, we have a governor and just a state overall that doesn't exactly know how to get its act together. And, you know, for those that, you know, are trying to get the vaccine, you know, we're obviously, you know, there's only so much that we can do. But the fact that we have great representatives in the state like Anna Escamani and Carlos Guillermo Smith, they are working on our behalf. Chevron Jones, they are working on our behalf to make sure that we are able to get the vaccines to the people who need it the most. And, you know, obviously, thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. It's been a really great show. We're obviously really excited about where this is going. For those of you who are local and want to get involved with GenCore. I
believe that I'm actually verifying it now, but I'm pretty sure that I'll be in the Garden tomorrow morning.
Yes.
I'm calling it Farden Fridays or Fridays at the Farden. I know that doesn't, I know it's weird, but it's somewhere, the Farden is somewhere between a garden and a farm. And so I'm calling it the Farden. So Fridays at the Farden.
Yeah, well, absolutely, Jonathan, and thank you for being an EMT.
Yeah.
One of them, you know, again, anybody who works, you know, is a nurse,
Frontline
EMT,
workers.
frontline workers,
people.
teachers. The most
Okay, first of all,
underappreciated
let me clarify. Teachers shouldn't be that.
No.
Okay, that's a mistake. EMTs are frontline people. They take that chance. They go in that. They are the priority to get this thing. Teachers should not be in that position.
I'm going to leave you guys with this thought. Last thing of the night. Do not forget how much different this country would be and what position we'd be in right now and how many lives would have been saved if we had Medicare for all and UBI.
Yep.
Good night, all.
Bye. Peace out. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.